This is iRacing.
The home of motorsport at Silverstone today. It is live here for the Sunday Grand Prix Series, the Lotus 79s, brought to you by iRacing with Global SimRacing Channel. Hello, everybody. I am Craig King. With me is Joseph Black, and in the director's chair is Christian Duploy, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, Joseph, this is the final race of the season. Everything to play for, but that can mean all those mistakes could just catch up.
It certainly does. When you're in a season finale, you're going to enter it with a completely different approach and mentality to everything that you've ever done before. And so that can draw mistakes out, that can make things go potentially wrong. And, well, the two drivers will be desperate to be ahead of one another.
Yeah, we've also got other championships. But first, let's talk about Silverstone. And if you don't know Silverstone, where have you been for the last 75 years? To find out more about this fantastic track, we'll go to Joe Peak with the GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 3 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 18 turns along 3.19 miles. That comes out to 5.13 kilometers in metrics, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher-powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the high-speed straights and corners and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is most definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. However, don't discount the first couple corners in this latest iteration of the track. Abbey and Farm often require a greatly balanced car and some serious bravery if you're side by side. Corners such as Village, Brooklyn, Stowe, and Vale see the majority of overtaking action, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the draft to offer other opportunities. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting.
Well, there is Joe Peak giving us a guide on Silverstone. And Joseph, this is a fantastic track for Formula racing. It's only fair that we go to the championship today. Talk us more about this legendary British track.
Well, the Silverstone International Circuit is an incredible circuit. It's one of my local ones. It's actually the one only about 20 minutes away, and it's so good for racing action, and it has been for 75 years. Located in Towcester in Northamptonshire, open in 1948, so actually 77 years, but proper racing started in 1950, and it's 3.66 miles, 5.89 kilometers, and 18 turns of absolute drama.
Absolute drama. There's going to be a lot of overtaking spots as well today. Do not forget that technically the Village at turn 3. The turn 3 is the first real braking zone on the circuit, and the first real overtaking opportunities come from the likes of turn 6 at Brooklands, turn number 9 at Copse if you're gutsy enough, and maybe potentially the run down to the 16th corner if you can set yourself up well out of Stowe.
but still 18 corners where the potential for an overtake is rife, and the Silverstone circuit is one of the best circuits in terms of overtaking opportunities for one, and just pure side-by-side racing. You can pretty much go side-by-side through an entire lap of this circuit, and I think that's exactly what some of the drivers are going to be hoping to do today as they fight their way through, well, fight their way through the next race.
Yeah, fight their way through this race. And let's go to those championship standings, because they are very close. And this is all it is. Toga Hysada is 85 points behind James Barry. That sounds like a lot, but here's the key factor. Toga Hysada has a drop week of 19 points. James would have a drop week of 100 points. That's his worst result. That's a P5 in the championship. I'm not going to go through every permutation, but the key thing to remember, Togo needs to finish ahead of James and get at least one of the two of the 4 bonus points. 2 bonus points for fastest lap, 2 bonus points for pole position. That's how close it is. The rest of the championship, Gernot Friescher, Kartik Pai, Dylan Freckleton, all battling for those final spots on the podium. It's interesting because Pai and Freckleton don't have a drop week. They haven't even done a full 8 races this season for quota, so they could take that podium spot away from Gernot Friescher, the legend. So there's all to play for. By the way, Daniel Gallis in 10th, tied with Shaddy and Mad. But if you thought this was close, Joseph, the F2 championship, which we don't have the permutations for, is closer.
It certainly is. Cordiano is only 6 points ahead of Simon Steinbild, with Keith Herner only 14 points behind Barry West, Matthew Cockerham, Kurt Clapper, Alec Klessig. In fact, the entire top 10 is closer to the championship leader. So pretty much anybody in these standings could take the victory today. And so they're going to be fighting so incredibly hard for this. Gordiano leading the way in first place, Simon Steinbild in second, and Keith Herner just 14 points behind. Barry West and Matthew Cockerham split by just 4 points, and then Kurt Clapper on 58 points behind Yeno in the championship lead. Alec Klessig and Andrew Dixon split by just 3 points, and then Connor Levy and Cristiano Correni are split by just the 2, and 7th down to 10th. Just a 10-point split, and well, that's an incredibly close top 10 in the F2 standings.
Yeah, we can't work it out because it all comes down to their fastest race time overall. And this is the team standings, and I believe we can say that Essex Team Lotus in the Lotus 79 series are the champions. Friescher and Walsh taking that championship, I believe, on paper. I've not done the official math, but the community, the fantastic community that you can be part of, have not told us any differences. So the Williams Racing and the Renault Elf team will be battling out for that final 2 spots, and maybe Candy, Team Tyrrell, Hans Sommer and Miguel Morland will be also there as well. Love that from the community. If you like it next season on the forums, the iRacing forums, don't forget to sign yourself up. But it comes down to the race information for this final race of the season, and it will be 20 laps around Silverstone, when that's going to be 20 oh so tight laps. Just under, well, about 1:45 right now for the drivers. Open setup. You drive what you want to make, or use the setup the community help provide. But the car you bring, if you crash, you're out. There is no spare car today. Drive through at 17 incident points. Disqualification at 25. I don't want to say we'll see the 25, but some drivers will be pushing the limit through the corners like Maggots and Beckett's, Joseph. We may see one driver may hit that, maybe even 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's the track limits at certain corners, like Maggots and Beckett's, as you mentioned, are generally difficult to manage. And, well, Copse Corner, if you go side by side, somebody could be pushed wide. And just the way that they could work together, those separate corners, and it all builds up, of course, 20 laps. That would just be a lap. And then just occasionally maybe a side-by-side that gives you 2x, or maybe a little bit of contact as well, and that sees you out of the race. So it's going to be tight margins here today in Northamptonshire as we get qualifying underway.
Now don't adjust your sets. That is a P. Partonen, who was pole position, but Pepe Fuentes now takes over the lead, the pole position, and that's very important when it comes to the rest of this race. Because if one driver who isn't Barry Hysada gets that point, well, that makes it harder for Barry to try and win this championship. Pepe Fuentes finished his lap. Pauli Parton finished his. Toga Hysada's finished his. And James Barry has finished this. This is just a little bit of a shakedown lap for Pepe Fuentes. And you can see These aren't modern-day F1 cars, and they have to slide a little bit round the side, but you can just see just what this is. So much downforce on offer, so much high speed these drivers can get.
Yeah, they certainly can, and well, it's almost the case that you can push these cars harder just because there's a little bit less in them, and potentially you have to push them just that little bit harder. Track limits are going to be a little bit kinder than they are in modern F1, which allows the opportunity for some of these drivers to just gain that little bit of time. Fuentes is going to come into the pit lane. I don't think is going to be able to improve on his time then. In that case, Jarno Frich is heading through Maggots and Beckett's now, and is going to come out onto the exit of the corner, and he's only got a couple more corners to go to see what lap time he's going to be able to do. Current lap within the first two sectors is 1:17, and well, with just less than a minute left, he's going to see what sort of time is he able to set on the board. Nothing yet, so this lap is more important than any other.
I came through Stowe at 162, hit the braking turn at 282 kilometers an hour. So much speed shed there, hits the Bell chicane and into club. The Hamilton straight will lead it, and the veteran puts the car in a very respectable P8 today. Not where he would like to be, the number 3, but that should be all she wrote with just a little bit of time left. Fidel Ruiz will be coming across the line to try and, he's just setting some hot laps out there at the moment as he goes wide through Cops. That should be all she wrote with 10 seconds to go. And the key factor here that we have to look at, and if you know the Lotus 79 series, Togo Hissada will be starting 3rd. James Barry will be starting 4th. And we know what Togo Hissada's like on starts. I hate to say it, Togo. There is that unfortunate reputation. Let's go to those standings. We've got 38 cars out here today. Let's try and get all 38 through before they get onto the grid. Pepe Fuentes will take pole position away from Howley Partonen. And then it's Togo Hissada in 3rd. James Barry 4th with Jack Davis Pickett 5th. Jacob Reed will be 6th and Henry Morse will take 7th. Followed by Gilbert Friescher as we saw in 8th. Kartik Pai 9th. Gabriel Martinez will be 10th.
It will be. That's the first 5 rows on this field. And it's going to be Xavier Sanchez in that 11th spot on the 6th row, sharing it with Aaron J. Blair. Dylan Freckleton and Ryan Turcott on the 7th, and Mike Rasmus and Hans Sommer sharing the 8th row of the grid. Rounding out the top 20 will be Daniel Gallus and Daniel Banker, both on the same row of the grid, with Javier Mosquera and Alexis Tapiavico rounding out the top 20.
Adrian Azron Garcia will take 21st with Carlos Peralta in 22nd. Simon Steinbield will be 23rd, Eduardo Espana beside him in 24th. Then it's John Pettick in 25th. Barry West will be 26th. Gord Janot will be 27th with Albert Pirch in 28th. Karen Parrish will be 29th with Luca Monroe in 30th.
Yeah, Janot, of course, the driver who could be taking that F2 title home. Jean-Francois Boscus in 31st. Pablo Ortega alongside him, and then Alec Cunningham. The final lap time set with Jason Clapper, Fidel Ruiz, Martin Reisman, Kurt Clapper and Omar Navarro rounding out our 38 car field, and rounding out our 19 rows of cars and 19 rows of drivers ready to take on the 20 laps of the Silverstone circuit.
We're waiting for Pauli Parton. I know Pauli probably realized we were going to be struggling with 38 cars today. We're all ready, Pauli. We're waiting for you. 21 C air temp, 30 Celsius track temp, bit of humidity, 22 kilometers an hour wind to the southwest. We're excited here today. 20 laps of Silverstone is getting ready. Barney is getting ready with those lights, and it is going to be... Wait for it. Wait for it. Here we go. It's green flag. It's a terrible start for Pepe Fuentes. It's a great start for Togo Hissada and Pauli Partonen. And those two will look to try and resurrect it. Into them they go. And it's actually Pepe Fuentes returning the moment there into Togo Hissada. Togo will remain third. Right behind though, James Barry is getting caught under pressure. Around the outside will be the number 1 of Jacob Reed onto James Barry. It's not been the start for the championship leader he needed.
No, it's certainly not. And, well, he actually... Togo Hissada got off to an incredible launch. The way that you talked about his starts pre-race, he's decided to heed that warning and prove you very much wrong, but it's going to be Partonen who leads the way. Fuentes in that 2nd place, and well, that 3rd place could be fought over. Hissada and Reed going side by side, and Reed coming out on top of the battle in the end. Now Barry going for the pressure on Martinez. Is he able to get through on the inside line? Yes, he is, and that is a position sealed as they head out of that first sector, and that might have broken the momentum for Martinez too, who's got Morse right behind him as they head into Cops.
Gabriel Martinez took his first victory on a broadcast for the Lotus the Intervintage last night, and now he's trying to do some real good driving here at Silverstone, but he's losing out. And I'll tell you who else is losing out. It's James Barry, all the way down in 6th. He's -2 for the day. I'll tell you what, Kevin Parrish in the back of the field up 4. Fidel Ruiz up 7. At the back of the field as well, so some real high flyers at the back, but we're keeping James Barry. He needs to catch up to the rest of this field. He's struggling at the moment, but look at the serpentine from everybody. Togo knows that he has to be on the defense regardless. Behind him is a legend in open wheel racing on iRacing at the moment. It's Jacob Reed. That's a very tough man to keep yourself at bay, but ahead of him, he's got 2 legends. Now, you could call them legends of the Lotus 79s in Fuertes and Partonen.
Yes, they do at the moment, and Jacob Reed demonstrating his pace yesterday in the Lotuses and demonstrating his pace over the last few weeks as well as in the IMSA series yesterday, where he came from the back of the grid onto the podium and almost taking the victory. So Jacob Reed, very much a man in form at the moment, but he's got off the circuit and he's going to get overtaken by Spickett. That's a rare mistake there from the number 1, and he might drop back past Barry too. Yes, he does, and he's going to drop even further down the field. Martinez getting through. Henry Moore shaping one up, but I think he's going to have to wait for the next straight to do it. For Jacob Reed making a very rare mistake of dropping all the way from 4th down to 7th, and it's back to square one.
Very weird understeer hitting the turn there at Abbey. Looked like he turned it on time. Maybe a little bit of dirty air. Gets one back. Gabriel Martinez had a little bit of a moment into Brooklands, and he loses it. We're back with Togo Hisada, though, as he tries to look ahead. Gets a good run out of Woodcock, and down the old straight they go. The national pit straight, as they call it. Got a good run on Pepe Fuertes, but he won't want to be aggressive at the moment. Remember, if you're used to the series, he likes his steps a little bit looser. Likes to just trim out the wing a little bit there, so the car will look to be a little bit skating here for Togo today as he comes through Maggots. Into Beckett he goes, fighting that dirty air, and now into Chapel. You can see that rear, it just wants to go a little bit. He has to behave here, because a few times this season, he has lost out when that car has said goodbye.
But it's very much benefited in terms of the pace in these cars, because they're just so good when you've got a loose setup, because you can push them so much harder than modern F1 cars. There's a lot less helping you, so it just allows the opportunity for you to gain time in alternative ways, like potentially running wide or just literally drifting yourself in and out of a corner, as Togo Hisada has done that into the final one, and he's going to come out on the exit with a decent run on Fuentes, but I don't think turn 1 is an overtaking opportunity just yet, as Partonen sets the fastest lap of the race at the top, taken off by Jack David Spickett, who's going to try and apply pressure on Hisada at the moment. The top 4 are over a second ahead of the rest of the field, and this may well be the way that it remains for the rest of the race, but it's not just. It's only just a second, so Barry has an opportunity very, very easily to close right back in, but Jack David Spickett and Partonen, fastest laps of the race so far. On lap number 3, Hans Sommer is going to run wide in the first corner, and well, he's going to try and let everybody through, and he's going to rejoin towards the back of the field, so that's not ideal for him. 22nd is where he rejoins, and that is what can happen when you make a small mistake there. Jacob Reed felt that last lap, as later on in the lap, down the end of the next straight, it's Vico, and he's up into 17th place, and just making it look very, very nice and clean.
Yeah, making it look very clean there as he got past Daniel Galles for 17th position, making some moves. Let's have a look at what happened to Jacob Reed on the GSRC replay, and it just looks to me dirty. Did that? Now, I saw a kick up of dust there. Did he open the corner a bit too much and caught that grass? Might have just put a little bit of grass on these slick tyres. Just maybe struggled there a little bit, and that could have happened. So we come back live now. That red car is James Barry. The gap between him and Hisada is 1.6 seconds. That's important because Barry needs to get ahead of Hisada. And now neither of these drivers got the pole position. There's only 2 bonus points. That's fastest lap. Well, Jack David Spickett has the fastest lap so far this race. Fastest lap this week, though, belongs to Togo Hisada as Kevin Parrish, looking to make some moves up ahead as he goes for some defense, and Kevin's having a real good fight here at the moment, but this is going to go very tough. It's side by side here with Ruiz, and Ruiz will go on by. Ruiz keeps it in, and right behind him, hello, Luca Monroe, saying, I'll tell you what, Gord, you might be battling for the F2 Championship, but I'm still battling for a race.
Yes, it's all about the fights for the race victory, and well, that's what they're going to try and do at the moment. They're not going to care about anything that happens at the moment. It's all about pride, isn't it?
It's absolutely about pride, and this is part of the community. They just race for fun. They race with respect, and you also know at the same time that these drivers, they know who's battling for what championship. They're going to be battling hard, but at the same time, they're going to be battling with respect. And look at this queue at the back of this field. It's a strength of field of 38. That's not each class. That is literally 3,838. Albert Perich here trying to make some moves on Jean-Francis Boscus as he's still in this train, and just look at them all. Everybody's in a train. There's about 5 gaps in this 38 car field where there is between the packs. Everybody else is in battle. Jason Clapper is also in a little battle. He gets past Alex Cunningham.
He does, and he's up into 31st. Alec Cunningham dropping down to 32nd and might be under pressure here into Copse Corner. Is this going to be the first overtake that we've seen into here? Yes, it is, as he sweeps around the outside line, and Alec Cunningham just deciding that it would be better to back out of it there, and down to 33rd he goes. But that's absolutely fine, because he's able to get the run into Maggots and Beckett, because he didn't try and fight it, and he might get the opportunity on the exit. But switching back to the race lead, and Fuentes chasing Partonen into the final couple of corners onto the circuit, onto Club, and looking to set himself up on the exit. That's exactly what you need to do in this race. You just need to set yourself up on an exit, and maybe you'll be able to pull alongside and ahead. Hissada, though, staying behind close. Spickett doing very well as well in there, and Barry working his way into the top 5, but Reed 1.5 seconds off. He's not showing the outlandish pace that we've seen many a time from him so far, and potentially he will light it up later on in this race. But at the moment, these 4 cars have turned into a 5-car battle for the lead, and it feels as though it's going to be this way for the next 15 laps.
Yep, everybody strap in, because for these 15 laps, these drivers may not be making many overtakes. They'll be waiting for the right opportunity at the end of the race. But if you know the pedigree, Pauli Partonen can defend left, right, backwards, forwards, jumping, in the water, under the ground, in space. He can defend wherever. Toga Hissada, he'll brake later than you even know you can brake. And those tyres would just be like, yeah, okay, I'll still take him. Pepe Fuentes, he has got 2 superhumans right in between, well, in front and behind him. And a mistake there from Fuentes. And this might be Hissada having to make a move into Maggot to Beckett. They're going to go side by side into Maggot. Maggot's at the left, Beckett's at the right, and they're going to take this side by side. And Togo realizes the situation and slammed on the brakes. Smart from Hissada, but Barry is now in a double tow with Spickett and Hissada.
And it's allowed the opportunity to open up the gap for Partonen at the top of the field. Togo Hissada now very much under pressure, and actually putting the driver in front under pressure as well. Attack is the best form of defence, and he's going to try and go the long way around the outside of Fuentes here, going so far off that he's going to go off the circuit. So no move there for Hissada, but maybe a move for Spickett. Defending the inside is Hissada, and so Spickett looks to the inside, looks to the outside, cannot see a way through, and so it's very well defended. But Hissada a little bit loose on the exit, and that allows the opportunity once again for Jack David Spickett to pull alongside, and through the final corner, Spickett takes P3.
Yeah, Hissada going wide there at Stowe. Had to serve a slowdown, and I think he was trying to serve it in the race, but he also then made that mistake. Late braking into Village, he'll go, and he almost loses his front wing there and holds on, because he now realizes there's a red Ferrari behind him with the name of James Barry, and that one mistake has cost him. And I'll tell you who else is behind them. It's the green car of Jacob Reed. So he has to play smart. A couple mistakes there, and you wonder, was it right to try and go around the outside of Pepe Fuentes? I think he'll learn later. He'll get his head down right now. I say he gets his head down. He is very calm and composed when he's racing in his setup. But he now just has to keep it calm, because this is not what you want to see. He's got the championship rival right behind him. But as it stands at the moment, Hissada would win the championship.
Yes, and well, I'm sure that he knows that. I'm sure that he's doing his calculations in his head while he goes round, and knowing that he doesn't have to make any opportunity to go forward and catch up to Spickett or Fuentes. And at the moment, he is just absolutely fine, sitting exactly where he is. And well, this is Alexis Tapiavico making another move potentially. Is he going to be able to pull this one ahead? It's going to be very, very tight as they head into Maggots and Beckett, and smartly backed out of it, I think. I don't think there was a move on there, and well, just they tried to get the run, but in the end they weren't able to take the opportunity and stayed in behind. And well, the top few have just fought so aggressively over the first few laps that it's been hard to watch the further back progress. But Tapiavico doing well up into 17th place. He's got Gallus for company in behind him, and having a look potentially to the inside of that corner there of Stowe, but he didn't actually actually go for it in the end. And down to Vale, he will go now, still waiting in behind.
Still waiting in behind with Javier Mosquera. Gets a really good run out of the Vale chicane. Can't do much about it because that dirty air will be forcing him. Gets a really nice run out of the final corner at Club, but can't do anything with it into Abbey. We'll just have to wait. Not missing anything with the leaders. You can see the timing tower, but the crucial thing is that is a purple tick right next to James Barry. That fastest lap is important because now this gives Barry the championship just by a few points. And I know there's going to be people crunching the numbers for it. I've got my own little calculator in my head. Not a lot I can do at the moment as Vico continues to hunt and hunt and hunt. Mosquera would love to get this, but at the moment, Javier just really showing his pedigree in classic cars, just not able to find a way through. Just hoping that, look, in the corners, really quick here, really carrying the speed into the corners, but not a lot I can do. We're back, though, with Toga Hisada.
Yes, Toga Hisada in that 4th place, pulling alongside Jack David Spickett. This is going to be a move into very tight for the two, but respect given, space given, and Toga Hisada taking that position, as you can see in the picture-in-picture. Alexis Tapiavico making his way up to 16th place, and now trying to set his sights on closing that gap forward to Rasmus. But now they're going to continue on down the straight, and Toga Hisada is going to weave left and right to just try and break the slipstream as James Barry late lunge to the inside line of Spickett, but covered off very well from Jack David. And, the opportunity not taken, but it was a very slim opportunity there for Barry. But it does open up the door for Reed, who once again runs wide on the exit. So he did momentarily, at least, pull alongside. But for Jacob Reed, he's not quite been at the races today. However, he has caught up. So he's shown some of the sort of potential and some of the sort of pace that we come to expect from him.
Yep, this is the man that has won a couple of the GP World Tour Championships over a year. He has that pedigree in an F1 car, a modern-day F1 car, not in a car like this. And I wonder, that dive from Barry last lap into Stowe, it almost looked a little bit of desperation because JDS is a fantastic driver. And when he drives like this, to his own words, he drives like he's possessed. And he is really putting it in there. You look at the numbers. Remember, the number on the car is the ranking of iRacing. Do you think Jacob Reed, number 1? You got Pauli Partonen, number 2. Pepe Fuertes is 7th. Toga Hisada is the 4th highest. James Barry's the 8th highest. Jack David Spickett, 11th. That's a big difference when you look at it. And that just really shows that he's having to work here. And this is what Togo needs to see, because he can catch up to Fuertes with no problem at the moment. Just keep it calm. But if Jack David Spickett had a moment like that again at Cops, well, this is just going to be a problem. They're going to go side by side to Maggott and Beckett once again. They're going to fight it side by side into Maggott and Beckett. And Jack David Spickett gets that position. James Barry does not want to see that. But Jack was on the inside for Maggott. He had given the respect, but he knows he's got that inside line. He had the better line to defend.
Yeah, he did, and that allowed him the opportunity to defend, and Jack David Spickett is going to remain in 4th place as now there's a 1.2 second gap between himself and Toga Hisada, so that's a little bit of breathing room for one of our championship contenders, and the other one is going to try and cut off the breathing room for JDS as much as he possibly can, heading in through the final couple of corners then and trying to set himself up on the exit. Is Barry going to be able to do anything as Spickett closes in on Toga Hisada just over a second as they cross the line, and Barry is 2/10 back on JDS, and at the moment 4th and 5th is still remaining just as it is, and Toga Hisada will be happy to see that, but not happy to see that Barry does have that fastest lap, has the fastest lap point that he's stolen away, and Hisada is going to try and do anything to try and steal it back.
Well, he needs it. A 1:46.692 is the fastest lap that Barry has done today, and you look at the fastest laps this week. Well, Toga Hisada's fastest lap this week was a 1:46.060. So he has that pedigree to be able to get faster. But right now, his key is to keep with Fuertes and to allow Spickett to just play spoiler. Because if Barry gets past Spickett, championship changes back over to Barry. This is it. This is really crazy. We saw Pauli Partonen. Now, he took a little bit of sabbatical this season. He wanted a bit of a break. He came into this because it's Silverstone. How can you not make Silverstone on a Lotus 79? And we thought, you're going to play spoiler today. Maybe you're going to play spoiler out here today, Pauli. He hasn't, because these drivers have been struggling. They haven't been the best best drivers this week or this season, but consistency is key. And Barry, I feel he's got the run this time. He's going to have to slipstream. He is going to try and do this. Will JDS go for the defense? He goes, and real good defense to the right and to the left. And Barry's trying to go around the outside of Stowe and cannot make it stick. Wait for a late lunge into the Belgian. He's setting himself up for it. He's setting himself up for it. He gets it done, but had the overcut it. They're interlocking tyres, and that could be problem. JDS loses the position. Barry is in the championship lead.
Yes, and Jacob Reed up into that 5th place as well. So now he's opened up the opportunity to try and pressure Barry. This is going to be the fight that decides the championship between Barry, Reed and Spickett. And Barry will be desperate to be holding on to that 4th place for now as Togo Hisada is caught up to Fuentes for that P2. That would change things significantly. And, well, we're going to see what ends up happening there. Reed trying to take the exit off the corner. And I believe in the background, that's Jack David Spickett, who's gone off the circuit. And I believe that's the last of that we're going to be seeing from the number 11. That's disappointing then. From such a promising start, potentially picked up damage from that final chicane move. And, well, Jacob Reed now right on the back of James Barry and trying to take that 4th place away. Is he going to get the exit? No, not quite yet. And this is just a waiting game now for Reed. Where can he sense his opportunity?
Where can he sense it? Now, there had to have been some sort of suspension damage there or wheel damage. Didn't see a lost wing or anything there. But if JDS got damaged there, what does James Barry have? And you've got to ask yourself, with James being a little bit too aggressive there, well, he's battling for a championship. He's going to try anything he can. And JDS was fighting for a good result. He was doing the best he could as well. So right now, this puts it into the situation, the permutations, and I'm looking at something that Simon Steinfeld gave up for it. If Hisada finishes 3rd with no bonus point, Barry needs to finish 4th and get pole and fastest lap. Well, Hisada's 3rd. Barry didn't get pole. He only got the fastest lap. We got our numbers wrong. Barry actually needs to overtake Hisada, and Hisada's got past Pepe Fuentes, and they're side by side almost ahead, and Hisada had basically done what he needed to do, and he did it clean, and now he's got 2 cars ahead. Championship is now firmly in his hand, and we are now at the halfway stage.
Especially as Partonen has taken that fastest lap on that previous journey around, and so Barry doesn't have that advantage, and he sits in 4th place needing to gain, but he has gained 1.3, splits himself and Fuentes, and he's going to have the opportunity to maybe get within 1 second of Fuentes on the next lap, as we're going to get a replay of the move into the final corner from Togo Hisada. Is he going to be able to get through? Yes, he is. That's nice and clean. And, well, that's what I meant when I said, is he going to be able to get through? Is he going to be able to get through nice and clean? And that is exactly what he does as, well, we continue on lap 11 of 20 now. And Partonen fastest lap is going to be crucial for Togo Hisada. But Hisada is still going to want to take that P1. Of course he is. And why wouldn't you? You want to be able to seal everything on track. And, well, he would be taking the championship into his own hands pretty much. Barry would need P2. He would need pretty much everything to go his way, and in fact he wouldn't be able to take the title if Hisada won P1 now, and that is because he didn't take that pole position, and Hisada will know that, and he's closing in on Partonen 4/10 in the first 2 sectors.
Just a quick update on the F2s, but I've been trying to keep my eyes on the F2s here. And we've got a couple of the F2 drivers here. Gorge or not, is losing out to Hans Sommer. That's Daniel Gallas. Sorry, I thought that was Hans Sommer. And Daniel Gallas is off the track. And that almost looked a little bit of a moment. Eduardo España now having a little bit of a fight. He continues on. And these groups at the back of the field was the middle of the field. Usually, when we look at 20th, it's the back of the field. But with 2 full splits today, it's the middle of the field today. So you've got Garcia trying to defend against Hans Sommer. Hans Sommer really needs it. He's going to try go around the outside. And this would be fantastic. Holds it around the outside. And that's a fantastic move from Hans Sommer to go around the outside of Stowe on Adrian Anton Garcia. He takes it. They're still battling side by side through the Belgian chicane. And they're still side by side through Club. Fantastic driving. Sommer finally gets it. España's right behind looking for it. Don't think he'll get it. It's fantastic driving from 2 4K drivers.
Certainly is, and well, that's exactly what you expect from the Classic Lotus Grand Prix Championship. It is going to be fighting very, very hard, but very, very fair as well. Anton Garcia on that inside, but Espana trying to go the long way around, opening up the corner, but in the end, just deciding to stay right in behind. And the fighting from those two, very, very good, despite the fact it's down the bottom of the field, as James Barry on the outside line here on this replay. And I think we're going to get the opportunity to see what happened between himself and Jack David Spickett, maybe. But of course, James Barry at the moment fighting for that championship as hard as he possibly can, looking on that inside line into the chicane. Was there any contact or damage? There was a bit of contact. I'm not sure. I can't see any damage there. So, well, maybe just Jack David Spickett having something going wrong in, of course, the real life, which you sometimes have to focus on. And he was out of the race. And I think Barry getting away with that one, that it wasn't any further problems for him or for Spickett. And, well, fourth place at the moment, just 4 tenths behind Fuentes. This championship is not yet over.
Not yet over, but Quesada has the fastest lap. Jack David Spickett did confirm to us there was suspension damage. So that's interesting. He's got suspension damage. Keep your eyes on what the lap times are for Barry. He doesn't look like he's got suspension damage. In fact, he just went 3 tenths faster than Quesada. But Pauli Partanen is rewinding the clock back 1 season as he's there. Let's look at Gernot Friescher, though. Let's look at Friescher in his battle with Henry Morse, as we've been looking at since we've come back from the replay. Henry Morse, Gabriel Martinez ahead. And what a who's who this is. Gabriel Martinez took his first win in Inter Vintage yesterday. Henry Morse is a Lotus 49 aficionado after the racing he's done this season and last season. And he's also dabbled in the Inter Vintage. And everyone loves to race the classic cars, the classic Triple Crown, as they say. Only one man's ever done that, Jamie Fluke. You could see as a mistake there from Morse. Not an Audi today, my guy. You can't be sliding there. Gernot Friescher has a lot of history. And really, this really is. And it's really nice to see this on the last day of the season. This is the who's who of races in classic racing.
Yes, and well, the racing that we've seen so far is nothing less than we expect from them. As well, that was almost a shaped up move from Gernot Friescher on the back of Henry Morse. And of course, there's only 6 tenths splitting these 3 drivers, so any of them could start this lap in one position and end it in a completely different one, especially considering the fact that these cars are going to be slightly slower than the modern Formula cars, or maybe even the modern World Endurance cars and sports cars, depending on your sports car and depending on everything else as well, of course. And so the fact that it's about 3 tenths is going to be tighter than if you were in, for example, a modern F1 car. So the fact that they're 3 tenths within each other and they're still able to keep fighting it out on the circuit is testament to their driving ability. And well, Gernot Friescher still in that 8th place and trying to overtake as there's the fastest lap going the way of Pauli Partanen, who's I think going to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of both of the championship contenders, but he could be helping Barry here as the fastest lap point stolen away and taking the victory as well as it stands with 7 to go. Then he is going to take some points off his starter, and if James Barry isn't able to do anything and fight forward, then it's going to be all futile. But if he is able to get forward, then we could be seeing literally a fight on circuit for the championship win.
Yeah, James Barry has been driving really hard out there, and it's not been working for him. I'm looking at those permutations again. Simon's going to be watching this back and going, I'm so glad I did this. The way he's worked this out, the way the community's worked it out. His starter finishes P2 with no bonus points. Barry needs 3rd and both sets of bonus points. His starter still the champion as it stands, and you can see why James is really pushing hard out there right now, as he knows the laps are starting to tick down. 7 to go on the GSRC timing tower is just showing you that we've only had 24 minutes of racing, and there's still another 12 minutes to go. Dylan Freckleton in a picture-in-picture. You know it's Freckleton. It's lightning purple. Javier Sanchez around the outside. Almost made that stick around the outside of Cox. And he has to give a little bit of respect. Now they're going to go side-by-side into Maggots and Beckett. And they're still side-by-side. And that's real good from Javier, but he cannot hold it through Beckett. And into Chapel they go. Freckleton holds on. And Freckleton's now thinking, don't know if I like that, because Sanchez, with the move there, would have been a fantastic one if he could do it. I think he'll get it, though, into Stowe. The defense is on. Javier's going to have to go around the outside.
Yeah, he's going to have to go the long way around. Is he going to dare? No, he's not. And so he's going to try and set himself up for the final chicane heading into Vale now. Can he get through? He's on that outside line, so it's going to be who breaks later and who can get on the power quicker. The squeeze is right on, but Xavier Sanchez does not care about that move. And through maybe goes Blair onto the final corner. Not quite. He doesn't quite get the run. He runs slightly wider than he would have been hoping to. And so he stays in 12th place. Freckleton retains 11th and retains the pressure on Sanchez.
Yep. And you know that Sanchez is trapped right now. The streamer on his Twitch will be saying Vamos right now. But he's had a little bit of a moment there. Maybe cooked the tyres a little bit. So he has to try and cool them down. And that's not going to help him as he goes on. This is James Barry as he continues to push on. And Pepe Fuentes is right in front of him. And he knows that he's got a chance. Also, Hans Sommer just taking a toe. I think there's been a crash there for Hans Sommer. We'll look at that later, but this is Barry. He's not going to try and do any move around the outside here. He's going to set himself up, and he really cuts into the corner. Goes a little bit wide, not enough track. Gets a good run here. Going to try and do this into Maggots and Beckett. There's not a lot of room. He runs the sausage curb, and he goes around the outside of Beckett to the inside now of Chapel. Brilliant driving from James Barry. He's a man on a mission, and I do not want to mess with him, but 2 seconds up the road is Toga Hisada, and he's got to keep on defending.
Absolutely incredible move and respect given from Fuentes, and he'll be hoping for the same respect as they head now into Stowe. He's going to try and take the long way round. Is the number 7, and can he get through? He's still going to hold that inside line as they head down to Vale. That's 2 corners that they're going to be side by side. It's going to be 3 and maybe more into Club. Is it going to be the opportunity for James Barry to finally seal this P3? Yes, it is, and he moves up. He's onto the podium, and he's 2.8 behind Hisada.
You know, I wonder if that was Fuentes missing his gear for a moment there. Remember, they're H-pattern shifters here, these cars. And I do wonder if there was a little bit of a moment there because he slowed up very suddenly through the middle of the Vale chicane. But now he's being attacking. And this is the compromised line. Barry's been compromised through the loop into Aintree. But also Pepe Fuentes. He missed the gear. He's having more problems. So this is not good. Hans Sommer in the replay. Just losing it there through Vale and tried to haul it through Park, but could not do it. Losing out, comes back onto the track. Still a little bit not with the control. And that's so tough. But Barry get past Fuentes. 3 seconds is the gap. 5 laps to go. He's got to catch up. He's got to find 3 seconds, Joseph, and overtake one of the toughest men on the brakes in iRacing. That's a very tall order.
It certainly is, but when you're fighting for a championship, you find this extra element of you that you never knew existed, whether good or bad. You never knew existed, and well, that's exactly what James Barry's going to try and do. He's going to try and channel his internal Ayrton Senna in the Lotus as he heads through the final few laps of this race. 5 to go then, and it will be 4 when Peterson crosses the line. There's a 2.8 second gap between the two at the top, Barry and Hisada. And, well, at the moment, that is the way that this order is going to remain. And Gabriel Martinez in this 6th place is also just about trying to attack Jacob Reed, who's dropped off the top 4 pack, and he finds himself only 4 tenths ahead of Martinez at the moment. And Martinez just, well, he's going to come under pressure from behind from Freach, I think. And Henry Morse as well is right up in there in the battle. So the top 8 still all to play for.
Yeah, top 8 still all to play for. 8's a very interesting number here because when these cars raced at Silverstone in the 1979 British Grand Prix, they didn't have this section here. It was the old runway track at the, around here. We keep our eyes on Aaron Blair. The Lotuses didn't do very good. Carlos Reutemann won in 78 when it was at Brands Hatch, but in 79 he was driving for the Lotus and he came 8th, 2 laps down. Hector back in the other Lotus Ford was in 9th, also 2 laps down. They couldn't do much. They're trying to make sure they don't go laps down, and Aaron Blair trying to make sure that he can probably find 2 more positions here because Javier Sanchez had not been able to shake Dylan Freckleton, and he's also brought these guys in because that is right, Mike Reinsmats right behind as well. So they all want a little piece of the cake here to get into that top 10.
They certainly do. Why wouldn't they at the end of this race, at the end of this championship, want to end it off on a high? And Aaron J. Blair in that 12th place at the moment. And well, he's just looking to try and take an opportunity to try and get further up. And well, speaking of further up, it's the likes of Gabriel Martinez in that 6th place that are still scrapping over those positions. And I believe Martinez is very, very quick and very ready to make the move on Jacob Reed if he so needs it. And out onto the straight, onto the hanger straight. Is he going to take the opportunity to close in and get up ahead? He's just those 3/10 behind. It gets down to just under, but not able to move. And 5th place still held on by Reed. And it's just the fights are going to continue all the way to the end. 4 to go.
4 to go. And like I said, I was trying to work out roughly the F2 standings, and they're a little bit scratchy at the moment, but you have to look at the fact as we keep our eyes on going up Frisch, battling Gabriel Martinez. I am looking, and Gorjanot is not having the day he needs. Simon Steinbild is also well behind him at the moment, and Keith Herner is actually, I believe he's in the second split today. He's not here, so he's going to have a fast second split to try and battle, and that's going to be tough. That could be interesting to see later on, but this would give Gord, if it stayed like this, the championship for F2. But we could also see Gabriel Martinez trying to get the most important position in iRacing, a top 5. Side by side, he'll go with Jacob Reed. Reed is going to fight this into Brooklands, and cool as you like from Jacob Reed. Takes the inside. Gunnar Frisch said, I want a little bit of this party. Don't forget about me. And Henry Morse is there saying, can I join in, please? I want to have another party. Let's throw a blanket under these boys and have a little slumber party.
Yeah, he wants another bite of the cherry, and he might get the opportunity heading into, well, they're going to head into Cops now. Nobody making a move, but who's that going around? That is going to be Jacob Reed, who's gone around. That's a very, very disappointing mistake, a rare mistake. But that's not the first one of this race. And for Jacob Reed, it's just gone from bad to worse. And I say bad to worse, he's just dropped down to 10th. That's the high expectations we have of him. But he's now out and remaining in that 10th place and right in the thick of things. But we're watching right in the thick of things at the moment. 6th, being scrapped over Gabriel Martinez, just 2/10 behind Frisch. Is he going to be able to make the move at some point in the next couple of laps? He's going to need to, as James Barry, not quicker than Togo Hisada, actually slower than Togo Hisada on the last lap, who set the fastest lap. It's a crucial time for him to have done so. And, well, the championships are generally won by someone with bottle. And at the moment, Togo Hisada very much having that bottle.
I've done the maths. And if that actually stayed, if we watch Jacob Reed, I think he bottomed out there for a moment. I think that's what happened to him. Dylan Freckleton's gone around as well. Did he bottom out on the curb? Yeah, you can just say, I think the car's already going. I did the maths. You want to know how important Togo getting that fastest lap is? Barry would have had the same point as Togo Hisada had he had that fastest lap. You go back to Countback, and Countback would belong to Hisada with the with a win. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins to James Barry's 3 wins. So that just goes to show, or 2 wins, sorry. That just goes to show how important that fastest lap is for Togo Hisada. But what it means is Barry needs to find 3 seconds in 2 laps. And Aaron Blair is trying to find a way to defend against Mike Rasmus. And he's trying. And Mike's going to take the inside, but he can't do it. And he bottles up. The understeer starts to wash out the corner. And he holds it. Good little defense there from Blair, but he's got a lot of cars right behind. Dylan Freckleton will also want to try and get into this, but these 4 cars all there as Jacob Reed. Jacob Reed's even more sketchy. I think he's got some sort of aero damage.
I'd imagine he does, and well, that might have been why he ended up oversteering out of the corner. Maybe he just, maybe he had some sort of net go. Maybe he just really cost himself some time, and that is not going to be ideal for him. And well, he's still fighting for 10th place, so he's going to pick up any scraps that he can out of the final few laps of this race. There's only 2 to go now, and we're watching on with the battle for that 10th place. Togo Hisada, another fastest lap. James Barry snatches it right back, and that is going to make it just that little bit more interesting, because that shows that he's faster.
This is insane. Togo Hisada, 145.854. James Barry, 145.843. But the championship would still go to Countback to Togo Hisada. That is how important it is. Barry, You've got to find 3 seconds on the fastest lap. I don't think you've got it. Pauli Partanen just needs to get past a few more corners. He's coming up now to the old straight, the national straight. Remember, he comes to Cops. That was when Michael Schumacher broke his leg back in 97, 98. My memory. I was a kid, but I remember it. But that's not going to happen to Pauli Partanen. He's going to take this calm. He's just relaxed at the moment. And that's all he needs to do. Hisada's 2 seconds behind. Behind him is 3 seconds to James Barry. This is it for Partanen. He's just holding, and I can see he's slowing down because he knows Hisada doesn't need to push right now. And if he slows down, he's not going to give the win away. Don't worry. He's just taking it easy. The legend, that is Pauli Partanen. I'm sorry, Pauli. I never pronounced your second middle name. He's going to take this around the final time at Stowe, and he takes it cool, calm, and collective. And he's just waiting because he'll be the man who took the championship away from Hisada last season. And he'll be the man to congratulate that man because this has been a little bit of masterclass from Togo Hisada. Partanen will get the victory. It's a return to form, but right behind him, Togo Hisada. It's She-Man. He takes the championship.
Yes, victory to Hisada, and the fastest lap on the last lap as well. He was absolutely incredible throughout this campaign and throughout that race. James Barry just about missing out, and that was a very, very good fight all the way to the finish. Henry Morse in that, he ends up finishing in that 7th place, and that's a very good finish from him as well. But Togo Hisada is your champion, and PKP, your race winner here in Silverstone. They both sound so good.
They sound so good. And you've got to feel, as we're watching Dylan Frackleton right at the end, it's not been the race for Frackleton. He'll come home in 17th position. You have to feel, this is where F1 should be finishing a championship, but it's a little bit too cold in November, I've got to say. So maybe it's not right. Kevin Parrish will come across the line. He holds off as well. James Barry will feel a little bit defeated. Luca Monroe finishes the race. He's sweating. It's been a hot one. It's been a tough one out there today. We'll count them all in as they come on by. Barry West will be 35th. Behind him's Daniel Gallis. And, well, Barry, you've deserved this. We haven't got to see you on the screen today because it's been so chaotic. But the man, the legend, he is the veteran. One of the oldest drivers on iRacing in terms of membership time and age. And Barry West will be coming across the line. It doesn't matter. He's going to be finishing in 34th. What matters to him is he had a bit of fun around Silverstone. He'll come home. Daniel Gallis will be 7 seconds behind. That is all she wrote. I think we can get a little bit of a breather now at the moment, Joseph.
I think we can, and we haven't had the opportunity to have a breather throughout the entire race just because of how good the action was all race long. It felt like there was always something going on, which is what you're going to get with 38 cars around Silverstone. You're pretty much doubling when F1 go there, and that is going to cause chaos, and that's exactly what we got here today. But it was organised chaos. It was very, very high quality chaos, and it was great to watch.
Yeah, and here is the official standings right now. Pauli Partanen wins 1.1 seconds. He took a little bit of a stroll on the final lap, so that's not really anything to look at. But Togo Hisada gets that P2 and the fastest lap. James Barry will be third. The points, I think it's over 2 or 4 points is the difference. That is just how close it has been. Pepe Fuentes will be 4th, and Gunnar Fritzsche will be 5th with Gabriel Martinez in 6th. Henry Morse will be 7th. Kartik Pai will be 8th. Javier Sanchez will take 9th, and Jacob Reed, one to forget from the number 1 car, finishes in 10th.
That's the top 10 rounded out. Alexis Tapia Vico ending up in 11th after a very, very good race with some incredible race pace. Aaron J. Blair in that 12th and Mike Razimus in 13th, all split by just under a second. Javier Mosquera in 14th with Ryan Turcott in 15th, and Carlos Peralta, Dylan Freckleton, Eduardo Espana, Adrian Anton Garcia, and Kevin Parrish round out your top 20.
Well, we go into 21st. And that's going to be John Pettick up 4 places today. And Jason Clapper, his special today was 12 from the back of the field. Luca Monroe will be in 23rd, up 7. And Martin Reisman will be in 24th, up 12 as well. Gorgonot will be 25th. And we think that might make him champion. We can't do the numbers for the F2, but we think that might be it for him. Pablo Ortega will be 26th. Kurt Clapper up 10 to 27th. So Omar Navarro in 28th. Juan Francis Boscos will be 29th, and Daniel Banker will be 30th.
And then your final 8 drivers in this race: Albert Parrish ending up in 31st, Simon Steinbelt in 32nd, Alec Cunningham, Fidel Ruiz, Barry West, Daniel Gallis, and then your 2 drivers that didn't finish the race: Hans Sommer and Jack David Spickett.
Yeah, just 2 retirees today in a 38-car field with these cars. What a drive that is from everybody. But we do have just a few drivers who want to have a little bit of a chat. I am waiting to see if we get our champion here today with Toga Hisada, but I think for the moment we're gonna have Joseph right now just coming down with Pauli Partonen, because it's only fair that the legend of Partonen gets to have a nice little bit of an interview. So he's alongside Joseph Black after his victory.
Hello, Pauli. Very, very good race from you. Do you want to just talk us through the 20 laps of the Silverstone circuit?
Well, yeah, this track is always very tough to drive, and it's very technical. And actually, this was the first time I was racing Lotus 79 in this particular track version. So there was a bit of learning curve during this week, but I'm happy with my pace. It was fine, and yeah, I think I was a bit lucky in the race when people behind me were fighting for positions, so I was able to gain a few seconds, and well, that was enough for the win.
Yes, it was. Well, it was just a time where you were absolutely able to blast away, and that was going to help you in that race. Do you think that? Well, did you plan for the start of the race to be so perfectly good, and then you just decided to manage the way through it, or was it just you see as you go?
I was sure that Pepe Fuentes will be very hard to overtake, so the plan was whatever it takes, I need to be at the lead after the first corners, and yeah, I was able to nail the start perfectly actually, so that was super nice. And yeah, Pepe gave me some hard time behind me on the first corner, so I was 100% sure we will hit each other, but we didn't. So thanks for Pepe for taking it very, very cautiously there. And yeah, after that it was just managing the race. I was just trying to not make any mistakes and not really worry too much about my pace, because the dirty air can be very tough when you are behind. So I was not really worried after that first 2 laps.
And well, just having a look at your championship, of course, you raced twice, the first and the last race, and well, you performed incredibly well in both of them. Does that bode well for maybe a campaign in season number 4 of 2025?
Yeah, well, most likely I will race at least some races. I haven't yet really decided, but I'm sure I will be joining the races. I really like, maybe I'm not doing the whole season because I have done Lotus so much during the past year, but we will see.
That's fair enough. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come and speak to us today.
Yeah, thank you, and congrats, Toko. I'm super proud of you. Nice job, man.
Pauli Partonen there, who finished in first position. Sorry there, Joseph, I took the thunder away from you there for a moment, as we do have the man of the moment as well, because Togo Hisada is here. And Togo, my Japanese is very bad, but I've been wanting to say this for the last 2 seasons. Anata wa champion desu. How does it feel?
Arigato! Arigato! Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing feeling. Just really tough really tough season, really tough last race. And I'm not sure what position we got just after the finish. So yeah, really, I'm really nervous about that. But yeah, just amazing feeling. Thank you very much.
It was a clinic by you today. It was fantastic to see you race, but at the back behind you every time was James. And even though he needed to get past you, were you worried? Because you were looking forward, but you had to look behind.
Yeah, just I'm just hoping, wishing the Pepe did a great defense through the race. So that I'm really hoping I don't want to see the James red car in my mirror. So just but there's a things that I just could I can nothing to do about that, because I'm just not involved with the battling. So yeah, just hopping from the back and then just focus on the front through the whole race.
Now Togo, let's not talk about the race. Let's talk about something else. You have had highlights on iRacing for the last 2 years. For the last 2 seasons, you have been the man everybody has seen. How does it feel knowing that everybody, because everybody today is so happy for you? How does it feel?
just unbelievable. You know the yeah, how should I say? But you know, to take the victory, to take the win in front of many people is always always something, you know, something special for me. And yeah, just yeah, I'm sorry, but I can say the unbelievable feeling. But
There's one word I can say. It's Sugoi. I might say another word, but I don't know if it would be safe enough to say, so I won't be saying it. But it has been great watching you race. Before we let you go, because it's obvious you are very full of emotion and exhausted. Any shout outs you would like to give?
The possible. Thanks for James Valley. He's a very kind, very great man to talk, great man on the track, off the track, every single time. And the battle is so intense. And thanks for this amazing season, amazing title fights. It's unbelievable. Thank you very much, James Valley. And of course the other Lotus 17 communities, drivers. Thanks for Ferran. Thanks for Jax. Thanks for Pauli. Thanks for JDS and a lot of guys testing my seeing my run share me the comments, share me the information about my driving style, teach me and help me. So thank you very much, all the guys. Thank you.
Well, arigato gozaimasu, Toga Hazada. Ichiban for you. Congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you defend that championship, hopefully, in a couple of weeks. Have a great rest of your day, Togo.
Thank you.
Togo Hisada, the champion of the Lotus 79s, and it's only fair. It was so close today. Joseph had been standing alongside James Barry after a very tight race.
James, unfortunate there for the championship, but still a very good race from your perspective. Do you want to just talk us through it?
Yeah, I've had better races. Just crazy stuff. I'm so tired after that. I had to work so hard to get past some of those guys and just chasing the rabbit that was Togo. Obviously, he was the only target in that race. My quali, not great. My start line procedure didn't go well either. And I got swamped into turn 2 or turn 3, whatever it is. And after that, just a struggle for the whole race. After that point, it was full focus forward and just trying to force those moves past Jack and Pepe, who really put up a fight. And that's all I can say, really. Just well done to Togo, because he did a better job than me today, and he's done a great job all season. He fully deserves this championship.
Well, you sound absolutely exhausted. How much has this race taken out of you?
Quite a lot, and the good thing is that I've got a radical European Championship race in about an hour from now that I have to do as well. So that's life as a competitive iRacer, I guess. But super fun race. I look back on it, obviously not too happy with some things with my performance, but at the same time, like, super amazing racing with these guys. And again, just hats off to, and thank you to everyone here in the community and in the races for putting on these shows, and to you guys, because it's just been super fun.
Of course, and I'm going to allow you the opportunity, actually, now that you've mentioned it. Is there anybody else you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Well, I think I've mentioned everyone, but last person I'll shout out is my dad. He's been watching my races this season and just supporting me all the way, and just shout out to him for being there before and after every race to have a chat about what happened. So yeah, thanks to him.
Well, I'll allow you to go and debrief with him before you get your race in just a couple of minutes. Well, in just not long at all. But thank you very much for joining us this race and this season. We hope to see you again next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys. See you later.
That was James Barry there. P3 today, second in the championship, and that's going to be it. And that's probably going to be it for the regular season, or the season for iRacing. So that's going to be it. And thank you once again. And a shout out to the Lotus 79 community for providing those setups, for providing this fantastic community and this fantastic racing. I want to give a shout out to all of you watching today, to watching yet another championship. I want to give a shout out as well to the team, and I've got a long list. I'm going to break my golden rule and not look at the camera. I've got a long list of people who have helped this season with the broadcast, with Christian Deploy in the director's booth, with Daniel Costello helping him sometimes, Dougie Beard with the camera work, Joseph Black with me today, Nicholas Hillebrand is well helping, Scott Kernick coming in as well, and the three legends of iRacing commentary, Joe Peake, Joey Atterbury, and Jake Sperry. We have all brought you the championship this season, and I hope you have enjoyed all 12 weeks of it, because my word, I have enjoyed watching it. It's safe to say, I love sim racing on a day like this. Until next time, next season, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.
This is iRacing.